fell dead. So, of course, it's Chicago, the big Democratic Party cesspit. And as society degenerates, you're only going to see more of this because the cops are watching Jack Bauer on shows like 24, where torture was so sexy and cool. And so, of course, they created substations, and you can believe this isn't the only one in Chicago. Kind of letting the cat out of the bag. They already know. They're already tracking what we do. Yes, we know about your other black sites. We're going to them. You won't stop us. In fact, I just made the decision. That's why I went ahead and went with it. I'm not going to send them in there without the government knowing that we already know, because then they might try to grab them. We already know about 2 other black sites. One of them's even bigger and more secretive in Chicago. There, I said it. Not first, they're going to the big facility that's known to just put on record they're in Chicago, and I need them on video live, so it's on record they were there. And go ahead and try to rough up my reporters or take them into the black site. I'm going to just tell the Chicago police something right now. Joe Biggs hopes you do something like that because he wants to expose you. He wants to go inside. So watch your butts. That's all I'm going to tell you. I just have a rule that I got to just tell people what I'm doing, so it's all out in the open. I have trouble sneaking around. But there you go. So pray for Josh Owens and Joe Biggs in the front lines of the battle for the Republic. Joe Biggs getting shot with rubber bullets and tear gas with Jakari, with the Al Jazeera crew and the Vice crew. My other reporters, anchors, David Knight, again, Josh Owens, who just keeps being in the middle of it, being there when the feds said we're going to open fire on you if you cross the line to the Bundy Ranch. They went over the line and the feds backed off. Huge victory. You can watch that famous video, Feds Surrender to Armed Citizens. I mean, this is not a game. This is the real deal. And quite frankly, I should be in Chicago. Joe Biggs ran with me 2 days ago and said, I want to go, I want to go. And I went, why didn't I think of that? This is breaking. Black sites, secret torture sites, huge news. Absolutely, Joe, and take whoever wants to go with you. And Owens volunteered yet again. But quite frankly, this is so big that I'm going to go to Chicago. I've just got so much work to do and so much to run here, but I need to go to Chicago sometime next week and go to these sites myself. And I need to do stuff because I've got cameras that have got special shotgun microphones and things that can really get audio of things going on. And I've got tactics that I know will end up getting the story that I've implemented many, many years ago, 15, 16, 17 years ago, when I used to get out in the field and cover and track all this type of stuff. But I know Joe and Owens are highly motivated, so there's a lot. We know of 2 other sites, secret substations, secret facilities. They're totally illegal. I mean, I can't tell you. In fact, let's just get some constitutional lawyers on. People want to hear it from a lawyer. But I can tell you right now, it is kidnapping when they arrest you and don't charge you or don't bring you before a magistrate and don't log you into the system. I mean, that is just felonies on top of felonies, official oppression, civil rights violations. Then when they actually do enhanced interrogation, close quote, and it turns out Rumsfeld was directing the Chicago facility and testing out police commanders to then go run operations in the Middle East. I knew they recruited federal prison guards that had abuse records, but this is creepy. And we have the names of the police lieutenants that did all this and have been involved in just incredible stuff in the Middle East. And now we've learned from a very good source of 2 other even more secretive facilities. One of them connected to the Threat Fusion Center. I'm just going to leave it at that. But, man, this is Creepville. And they're also using post offices as fronts. They're going to get really mad when they know we know about this. Some of this came out a few years ago about these upper floor, quote, surveillance centers where they watch the mail carriers below. That's a cover story, folks. These secretive federal facilities are really safe houses for the feds, InfraGard, CIA, you name it. I mean, this country's in so much trouble. That's all I can tell you. And it's super Creepville. It's totally illegal. And it will not save this country from the crime wave that we see in Chicago and other areas. It will bring us down like Mexico and other nations that have similar disgusting operations going on. But secret arrest centers with secret police is the heart, is the blood of tyranny and oppression and the opposite of America. And then they're going to go up live on air and directly to the front gate that the media won't do and knock on it. And if the cops flip out in America that we dare come to their CIA, Pentagon-run torture training substation facility where they then test and recruit people for operations in the Middle East and Central Asia, it just shows how disconnected from reality they are. The president's ruling that the border's wide open with no congressional authority. He's banning 223 ammo, basically. And if he gets away with that, it'll be everything. He's not even doing an executive order. He just says, I order the ATF to make a rule. The FCC just power grabbed the entire internet in the name of protecting it. And Ron Paul has the headline on Infowars.com. Internet, RIP, a federal agency now claims the power to regulate the internet. And they're going to protect it by censoring people. And they had a couple of big corporations act like they were against this to fool the public into getting behind it. Meanwhile, the usual suspect, George Soros and the Ford Foundation, gave $196 million this year and last year to pass this monstrosity. Do you see how all this ties in together? Here are 5 different London Guardian articles. Held for hours at secret Chicago black site, you are a hostage. It's kidnapping. They hold people for as much as 2 days without putting them in the database. So illegal, it is just mind-blowing. Chicago black site, former U.S. justice officials calls for Homan Square inquiry. That's where our crew is right now. Gestapo tactics at U.S. police black site ring alarms from Chicago to Washington. Shocked politicians and rights groups call for inquiries into Home Square. I mean, the state police should be raiding it right now. It's the state that's over the counties and cities when they break the law. I mean, you should have the equivalent of the Texas Rangers kicking down the door. But no, it's, oh, we'll investigate. I mean, it's amazing. Rahm Emanuel faces questions as top supporters examine outrageous abuse. Chicago's Home Square, black site, surveillance, military-style vehicles, and a metal cage. The building looks innocent enough, but those familiar with secretive interrogation and holding facilities describe a shocking display of police abuses. Guys, will you get the TV division to pull up the Joe Biggs, I think Knight was there too, Virginia report from A.P. Hill and the others where they found the torture training facility? And Joe says, no, these are like the medical torture chambers I brought people to. I mean, you understand, Joe Biggs has been in Rolling Stone and Esquire in 3 different tours with Michael Hastings embedded with him. All those battles, and there was video and photos that, you know, Hastings wanted to be put in a frontline combat unit, an Army unit that you know, wanted combat. So he was in those missions. And a lot of this stuff's on record. So I'm just saying, when Joe says all this, I mean, he's on record with his medals and Purple Hearts and all the rest of it, and it's been in the news, except the torture part. It did say that he ran, you know, operations scooping up militants and nighttime raids and all the rest of it, but the rest of the story is he would take them to be tortured to death in some cases, to death. It's not like we're just sitting here going, oh, black side, oh, they might be torturing, oh, do they do this? Joe Biggs basically was like a dog that would bring the duck to daddy, or a cat that brings a rat to your doorstep. He has seen it. It's going on. I mean, Rumsfeld in The Guardian, and this has been declassified, Rumsfeld himself was in communication with the police lieutenants at this facility. Now, what do you think he was in? The Secretary of Defense was on the telephone and signing secret memos to these people. It's being done because they're training, ladies and gentlemen, for operations here in the United States, and you know who the Justice Department's enemy is: gun owners, veterans, libertarians, conservatives, active duty, and police that aren't traitors. I mean, we're living in the middle of Valkyrie.
We're on the march.